Coming up in our next half hour, we're going to show you a smart board. Boy, it's going to make you think chalkboards, dry erase boards. What were we thinking? That's just old school.
Let's start from the beginning. As you've probably guessed, the ancestor of the smartboard was the old-fashioned blackboard. It's hard to pin down exactly who created the blackboard around the turn of the 19th century. Depending who you ask, it's either Scotland's James Pillins or West Point's George Barron. Both educators were looking for a more flexible solution to display visual material and information for their classes. Over time, manufacturing became more sophisticated and less expensive, and the blackboard evolved into the tinted colored chalkboard. It wasn't long before there was a chalkboard in literally every classroom around the world. And it remained this way for decades until the 1970s. Thanks to advancements in technology, some schools began to replace the trusty chalkboard with dry erase boards, largely based on the popularity of Sanford's Expo marker, created in 1976. But shortly after came the technology boom of the 1980s, which led schools to purchase a lot of personal computers for the first time ever. They also began to invest in another type of technology, LCD projectors, which displayed a computer screen or a video output inside classrooms and presentation spaces. And this is where Nancy Knowlton and David Martin come in. Nancy was an accomplished women's basketball player at St. Mary's University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. After moving to Calgary to work in accounting, she met telecom executive and entrepreneur David Martin by chance at the famous Calgary Stampede. The two married, and 1 year later they were driving from Montreal to New York City to meet with ITT Corporation about purchasing the rights to a research and development factory in Arizona that made LCD projectors and panels. While sitting in the passenger seat, Nancy asked David what he would do with this technology. Neither knew it at the time, but David's response would be their billion-dollar idea.
Dave gave this very elaborated answer on what he termed at the time interactive facsimile. And he had imagined that this LCD panel could project an image onto a giant touch screen, and in front of a group of people, there could be a level of interaction, digital information that would simultaneously and immediately be shown and manipulated at a remote location. So he had a great way of thinking about what he would do with that new flat panel technology.
They would go all in on this interactive facsimile concept, which would evolve into the smartboard.
You're going to see a brief introduction to the smartboard, an interactive whiteboard that combines the power of a computer with the simplicity of a whiteboard.
Keep in mind that in 1986, the idea of a device like an interactive whiteboard was a completely new invention in an entirely new market. But that didn't discourage Nancy. In fact, it made her want to pursue this idea even more.
I really did see the immediate application for it. And, sometimes you need an idea that's really out there versus something that is kind of adjacent to something already in the market. I didn't think that something that was kind of obvious would have much opportunity. And so it was the kind of radicalness of the idea that attracted me.
David and Nancy officially formed Smart Technologies in 1987. While David worked on the process of acquiring the 29 patents needed to manufacture the prototype of his smartboard, Nancy formulated the business plan for Smart Technologies, which primarily included becoming the Canadian distributor for InFocus LCD projectors. In short, their plan was to invest the majority of the profit made from InFocus back into the development of the smartboard. It took several years, but by 1991, David was granted all the patents for the smartboard, and soon after, he had a functional prototype ready to release to the public.